Hello everyone and welcome to the Zcast once again, post week 9. Unfortunately, I do have some bad news. Me, Rebel and Squee were not able to get together this week due to, various things like work, illness, social life, that boring thing. So yeah, we weren't able to do our part of the Zcast for post week 9 stuff. But, on the bright side, we do still have RonaldtheKing segments ready for your pleasure, and I guess I may as well just stop yapping on for no reason so you can get right into those. So, enjoy!
Greetings, everyone! While the rest of the Zcast is away, I will present my own segments. This will not be a weekly thing, as things will go back to normal next week when the rest of the Zcast comes back. Now, with that out of the way, let's begin. On to the top 5 wins. Coming in at number 5 is Cyborg Tao, whom disrupted Grandpa Gohan's Kamehameha with a Dodon Ray. It was a beautiful plan that was beautifully executed. Great job, Cyborg Tao. Coming in at number 4 is Hercule, who jukes out his daughter. It was a beautiful ankle breaker that left his daughter in the dust. Hercule obviously wanted to show his daughter why he's the champ. Beautiful, Hercule. Beautiful. In at number 3 is Dodoria, who got the better of not 4, not 5, but a 6-chained teleport combo. Great job, Dodoria. Impressive. Coming in at number 2 is Majin Vegeta. Majin Vegeta has a very special ultimate called Final Explosion. The ultimate Final Explosion may be powerful, but Final Explosion is not for the faint of heart, but rather the Psychotic. If Psychotic doesn't get you number 2, then I don't know what does. In at number 1 is Yamcha. Yamcha impressively quick fires a Kamehameha and follows up with an impressive melee game that embarrassed his adversary, Cell Jr. And that's all for the top 5, guys. Now on to the top 5 derps. Coming in at number 5 is Cyborg Tao and Nam, whom cancel out each other's grabs with a grab. And to make things even more confusing, Tao grabbed air that turned out to be Nam? Okay then. Coming in at number 4 is Android 13, who misses? No, that can't be right. I guess, as Squee would say, Kid Buu leaned so it didn't quite connect? Wow. In at number 3 is Bojack, who ran directly into a blast by Kid Buu. He makes a conscious effort to get out of the way, and then gets hit anyway. Good job, Bojack. Coming in at number 2 is Meta Cooler, who whiffs on a backhand. Seriously, did he expect to hit anything with a poor attempt like that? And finally, in at number 1 is Tien, who shoots his Neo Tri-Beam around his opponent. Seriously, shooting that Neo Tri-Beam is kind of like trying to eat soup with a spoon that has a hole in the middle of it. It just doesn't work. And those were the top 5 derps. The next segment that I will be covering is the Notable Match segment. The Notable Match segment from this week is a special one. This notable match was actually last week's controversial prediction. Last week's controversial prediction was correct, as the 3 and 5 Boos defeated the 5 and 3 Team Muscle. The match started out with Majin Buu versus Roshi. This set the tone for the match, as Majin Buu overpowered Roshi rather easily, winning with a 1.5 bar advantage. Evil Buu handled Bojack relatively well, but Broly came in unexpected and mopped things up with the worst V2 out there, Trap Shooter, which put Muscle back on the radar in the match. But another key point in the match sealed Team Muscle's defeat, as Kid Buu isolated and terminated Android 13 and Broly. It seemed like Muscle had a chance before 13 tagged. Then we saw the stellar performance of Kid Buu. The Boos won against Team Muscle with a margin of a character. That was the notable match of the week, guys. Now on to the controversial prediction segment. I predict that next week, Team Cold will win against Team Derp. My conclusion about this is factually driven. In fact, if you look just at the win-loss records, it looks like Team Derp has a greater chance of winning than Team Cold. But if you dive deeper into the teams, into what obstacles they have overcome, or not overcome in these cases, then you find something that adds some more controversy to the matter. The collective teams that the 3 and 6 Derp had faced was 47%, while the 2 and 7 Cold's collective enemy team win percentage was 14% higher at 61%. This means that Team Cold, more than likely, had harder matches than Team Derp had, meaning that if Cold were given Derp's schedule, they could very well have an even better win-loss ratio than the Derps. This, along with the fact that Team Cold were the previous East Kai division leaders, points to the idea that this means that Team Cold is due for a breakout win. I predict that Team Cold will win in their bout against Derp. And that was the controversial prediction, guys. Alright, so now that we just got done with the controversial prediction segment, I think it's time to do the interview segment. This week's interview is with Sariak of Team Derp. Hope you guys enjoy. Hey Sariak, how you doing?
Hey, I'm doing well. So third time's the charm, I take it.
Oh yeah, we had some issues recording audio. My bad. Sariak, were you surprised by your win against the Vowels?
No, not really. Like, the Vals have had a bit of a losing streak against Derp. Like, I'm pretty sure we're the only team that has never lost against the Valkyries. Which is, impressive and also kind of weird since, honestly, they've historically been the better team most seasons, so...
Yeah. Do you think it's some stylistic thing, or do you think it's just some great Bambino curse kind of thing?
I think the second. Probably the second.
Yeah. So you guys stacked up pretty well. Do you think there were any key things that made you guys win, like any key matchups that you think if they went differently, it would have really just screwed everything up for you guys?
Well, I wouldn't say screwed up, but we obviously got like a huge advantage early in the game where, Pan did horribly against Doria. There's no other way of putting it. Like, she did half a bar of damage. She obviously did more than that, but Eternal Life and stuff. And then after that, when Fasha came out, she basically flew around for 30 seconds doing nothing and let the Doria heal up to full again. So they basically just were fighting with one character down, which in the end they couldn't make up for that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's hard for any team to actually make up an entire character. That's crazy talk.
Yeah,
in my
it's
opinion.
difficult.
Were you surprised that Android 19 didn't hold as well against Fasha very well?
Well, the thing is, 19 just historically doesn't do very well against melee fighters, especially ones that have reasonably fast combos. And with reasonably fast, I mean anything that's not really, really slow. He has trouble getting his grabs off, and he has trouble getting that first punch in just because he has slower melee than most characters. So he tends to do better against other sort of characters that don't have that good melee. So no, I was not very surprised. It was a bit extreme, of course, how badly he did, but still, it was not something like, if you had told me before the match that he would go up against Fasha, I would not have held out high hopes for him.
So, does he have a false courage B1? Do you know?
Yeah, he does, and it does tend to help. He used it in the match, which is how he grabbed him, like with his last bar of health.
Oh, yeah. Well, that always helps. I think that the energy suckers using a false courage is probably one of the most dangerous things in DBZ League.
Definitely.
Hercule has been doing relatively well for Derp. Has there been a different AI or build changes that could be the reason for this, or do you think he's just, had a breakout season this season?
Well, the thing is, Hercule has been on pretty much the same build since like the beginning of season, 3 or 4? No, 4 probably. Like, yeah. The thing is, basically, the build that we're using is just a very slight modification of the build that Piff used in the end. And we've always had him on TNAI. We've always had him as, a Blast 2 kind of guy. And I think the last thing that we really modified was giving him like an even more powerful Clash Patara. Like, I'm pretty sure he didn't have Dragon Power. But other than that, there's very little that we changed about him. So, I don't know.
I don't know either. I mean, it might just be the last couple of matches that he's been doing especially well, though. I mean, he hasn't been throwing out as many present bombs, so that's kind of surprising, too, because that was his signature thing for the longest time.
He might have just been getting serious. Like, when he gets the dynamic mess him up punch, he's like, is it going to be real or not? And the last few times it's been real. So, he's putting the league on edge, showing that we're still real players.
Oh, yeah. Well, you could definitely take your division this year if you keep on doing things like you did last week.
Depends. We lost our match against the androids, I think. Did we? I'm actually going to check that. Because the thing is, if you end up with the same score at the end of the season, then the guy who won the match somewhere during the season, they get priority to get into the playoffs. So
Derp actually beat the Valkyries, and I know that the androids did not beat the Valkyries.
No. Derp
at least I
lost
don't think
against the androids, and the androids are the guys that we need to overtake in order to get into the playoffs because they're third place.
Yeah, I think that you guys definitely have the strength to be able to do that.
So, at this point in time, let me actually... Do you have a link to the standing? God damn it. Let me check.
I might actually have it up right now. Let's see.
Okay.
Go over here. Zeta boards. Yep, you gotta go over to Zeta boards. Come on. My internet's really slow right now for some reason. Oh, let's go. Please select your Let's Play. Here are the standings. I'll send you those.
Sure.
Go right back over. God, Windows 8. Don't ever get in Windows 8. It's a bad idea.
Yeah, I have it on my laptop. It came pre-installed.
There you go.
Okay.
Did you get it?
Yeah, I got it. Let me check if I can actually find our match against the androids. Because I am curious if we actually lost that. No, we actually won against the androids. I misremembered. So that means that when we are equal, so like if you look at the standings right now, because the androids won their match this week as well, there's still one match ahead of us. But if they were to lose once and we still win, then we would be equal, right? We will both be, next week we will be 4 and 6, both of us. And that would mean we would go to the playoffs because we already won our match against the androids.
So watch out, androids. You might have someone claiming your spot in the division.
Yeah, though at the moment they're still ahead. Let's keep that in mind. But yeah, we only need to gain on them by one match to overtake them, basically.
So who do you feel is the most dangerous Valkyrie?
The most dangerous Valkyrie? Well, that's probably just gotta be Fasha. Like, Aurelie's scary sometimes, but she's scary sometimes. She's not Kid Buu, where like that's her standard modus operandi, where you're kind of amazed when he has a bad week. Like, Aurelie has good weeks, but she doesn't always have them. When she has good weeks, she is the most powerful member on that team. But
She
that's
doesn't
only
quite have the
once.
consistency.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not like half the time she's just pretty average. That's it. So yeah, I would say Fasha definitely. 19 is also obviously 18 is also obviously pretty good, but I don't think she's quite as good as Fasha is at the moment. And you know, the other two members, Sailor Woman and Pan, you know,
Yeah.
I don't I don't think very highly of Pan, but Sailor Woman isn't a bad character at all. But like when compared to those other three, I think it's pretty obvious that those two are the weaker members, I would say.
And obviously, when compared to her father, it's pretty easy to tell who's the
Yeah.
better character.
I mean,
Also,
you would think that a bit of that has seeped through, but you know, she gets everything from her mother's side, really. It's kind of sad.
do you feel like the match would have been much different if you would have had Android 18 to contend with?
Well, that depends on who they had switched. Like, switched with Pan as a starter. Yeah, the match would have gone differently. Don't know if we would have lost, but yeah, it would have gone very differently. If she had been switched with Fasha, I don't know. Fasha did pretty good that match, so I don't know if 19 would have done better. I don't think so, honestly. So it depends on which one she would have substituted for, basically.
So, punch for punch and kick for kick, would you take the consistency of, or the more consistent Android 18 over O'Reilly, or would you rather have that kind of roulette?
Oh, I would take 18 every time. Yeah, definitely. Consistency is more important than individual match performances in my book.
Do you feel like there's a position that they could align O'Reilly on in the lineup that would make her more consistent as a player?
I do not know enough about how they build her to give a proper judgment on that. You would really have to ask Snow, because I don't know. I don't know what kind of build O'Reilly's on. So I've got no clue. I don't know if they've tried testing out other AIs or if they're happy with the one they have because it occasionally performs really well. So no, I can't really give a proper judgment on that.
Right. So any surprising matches that you want to point out from the week?
Well, now that I've watched it all, I can this time, this take. If I had to say a surprising match, it would probably be, well, I don't know if it's surprising really, but it was really fun. That would be Blades versus Dragon Ball Warriors, probably. I
Yeah.
mean, come on.
Yeah, that was a pretty good match. I mean, Cyborg Tao versus Tao.
Yeah.
Who do you...
I mean, there were some other people fighting, but really that was just the foreplay. That was not what that was about. It was Tao and Company, the game. That
But a serious question here: punch for
Yeah.
punch, kick for kick. Who's better, Cyborg or regular Tao?
I would have to say at the moment it's Cyborg Tao. Even though he didn't win, I think Cyborg Tao is still the more consistent player. They're both pretty good, but I'd say that, yeah, Cyborg Tao has to be the better one. He used to be on Derp for a while, like for one season, season 3, I think. Yeah, season 3 he was on it, and then we switched it out. In season 4, I became the coach, and we had a big change in roster, and as a result of that, Cyborg Tao went to the Blades.
So Salza, do you feel like there's an issue with him right now, or do you think it's just an issue of luck right now with his AI?
Well,
'Cause I feel like he could be this really, really good character, but he just isn't right now.
well, you know, in this match he lost, but I think that over the last few weeks he's been performing reasonably well, hasn't he?
And he's been going okay. But when I picture Salza, I picture this nimble character.
Oh, Salza! I thought you said Cyborg Tao.
Oh,
no.
no.
No. Salza has been doing pretty badly. We
Yeah.
haven't figured out why. The thing is, we've had him on the same AI for a while, and he used to do really well with it. But we are probably going to switch him around from now on. Like, we're going to try some new stuff. and we'll see how it goes. He was switched out this week, but otherwise we would have already shown that he had a new AI. But that will have to wait until next match.
What do you
What
think about Broly using his trap shooter so often? Do you think that it's worth it to use those
No,
small B2s when they
uh,
throw them out so often, or
no. I
no?
don't care if the shooter is free. It's never worth it. It'll move. It's like one step above energy valley. The thing is, you like yeah, it's cheap. So is his eraser cannon. It's like one bar more. It does twice the amount of damage and it hits twice as often. Like no, it's a bad thing. The thing is though, you got to keep in mind the random nature of the league. This is not something that the team is like training him for.
Training him to throw out trap shooter after trap shooter.
Can't really control when the champ decides that the present bomb is the accurate response, and when the dynamic massive mud punch is more the thing to go. But yeah, if they could get him to throw it out less, I think that would be altogether a good thing, seeing as even his melee is really good. You know, you just don't want Broly to throw out trap shooters. That's kind of simple.
I guess you got to take the good with the bad at the end of the day, though.
Yeah,
So,
definitely.
anything that you wanted to specifically talk about this week?
No, not really, honestly.
Okay, well, I really appreciate you coming on. I'm sorry about the mix-ups, and yeah, you'll see the interview on this week's Zcast, along with my other segments. There may be other segments, I'm not sure, but yeah, if you want to, you can go check that out or not. I'm sure that you'll probably want to see how I represented you anyway, but
No,
I'll represent you well.
I watch the Zcast every week, so I'll see how good of a job you've done.
Well, it was really good seeing you, Sariak. Thanks for the interview, and I really appreciate it.
Okay, talk to you later.
See ya. And that was the coach's interview for the week. I hope you guys learned some things, and that this helps you see things from yet another coach's perspective. Before we begin the rank change segment, I would like to announce some exciting news. There is a new rankings leader. And the new rankings leader is Fasha of the Valkyries, who finally kicked Tambourine out of the #1 spot. Tambourine has been ranked first since the first week, in which he earned his elite status in the league. Good job, Fasha. So now that that's out of the way, let's take a look at the top 3 rank changes for the worse, and the top 3 rank changes for the better. The first of the top 3 rank changes for the worse is Grandpa Gohan, who dropped 17 places in the rankings this week. This 17 rank drop changes his character status from that of a good character to that of a decent character. Grandpa Gohan was sitting at rank 21 the week before last. He has dropped down to rank 38. That sucks. I feel for you, Dragon Ball Warriors. The second of the rank changes for the worse is Android 13, who dropped 17 places in the rankings as well. Android 13, once feared as possibly the strongest player in Dragon Ball Z League, is now at spot 66 in the rankings. Team Muscle. What happened? Are the negative side effects of roids rearing their ugly heads? And finally, and the final rank change for the worse, is Android 17, who took an 18 rank drop last week. Once ranked 26, 17 is now 44 in the rankings. Ouch. That stinks. Now for the positive side of the rankings. The first of the rank changes, for the better, is Mecha Frieza, whom rose 15 spots in the rankings last week. No doubt this is good news for the 2-7 Team Cold, who is indeed in need of good news. The second stat change for the better is Dodoria for Team Dirt. Dodoria took a 16th place rise in the rankings last week. Dodoria is now sitting in at a cool 17 in the rankings, almost halving his rank from the rank prior. That's impressive. And the final rank change for the better last week was Super Vegeta of the Super Saiyans. He's now sitting in at an average 42. And that was the rank change segment for last week's matches. And that was the final official segment for last week. I would like to turn now to the one-time segment that I call the Who is going to be the two teams that duke it out at the Tenkaichi Bowl Finals segment. One of the reasons that it will be the one-time segment is because I don't want to say a string of words that complicated every other week. Another reason why I am doing this segment is that we just passed the halfway point in the regular season. It is now that we may start seeing which teams are likely or guaranteed a spot in the playoffs this year. As an extension of this notion, I would like to tell all of you my prediction of who will be duking it out at the finals this year. My prediction for the two teams that will be duking it out this year at the finals are the Majins and the Super Saiyans. I believe that the Super Saiyans are a shoo-in with their record, and the Majins are also at the top of their division. It is important to note that the only loss that the Super Saiyans have suffered this year was from the Majins. Who are your guys' predictions? Who do you think will be in the finals this year? Do you guys disagree with me? Well, that's it for our one-time segment. I guess this is goodbye, guys. If you haven't yet, check out Naruto League. And of course, support this one as well. Oh, and also look at Zeta boards. If you want to hear more from me or the rest of the Zcast, then be sure to check out the next bi-weekly Zcast, the week after this upcoming Sunday. If you want to see me, check out my channel in the description. It was great having you guys with me. If you have any concerns or constructive criticism of our segments, be sure to leave that in the comments as well. Have a good rest of the night, day, or morning. See you guys. Bye.
Thank you very much, Ronald. Thank you. Is it weird that I think this prediction's fairly accurate, if I do say so myself. But, it's beside the point. Thank you very much for watching. I apologise, of course. You should hopefully see us after Week 10's matches, which are going to be streamed, of course, as usual, on twitch.tv/TGN. Sunday, 4 PM Central Time, I think. Fingers crossed. But that's it from us. Thank you very much for watching, and we shall see you next time.